You are a passenger who has spent your entire life trying to steer the ship from the captain's deck, while the actual captain watches you with a patient, divine smile. You think your grip on the railing is what keeps the vessel afloat during the storm. You spend your nights calculating the wind and your days mapping the stars, terrified that if you let go for even a single second, the universe will collapse into chaos. You have become the god of your own anxieties, a weary deity of shadows. Ghazali warns that the desire for control is a form of hidden pride, a subtle claim that your wisdom is superior to the decree that moves the galaxies. You are suffocating under the weight of a crown that was never yours to wear. Look at your tired hands, calloused from holding on to a tomorrow that hasn't even been written yet. You are fighting a war with shadows, trying to win a battle against a future that exists only in the corridors of your overthinking mind. The Tafwid is not the end of action, but the end of the agony of outcome. It is the radical decision to walk the path while trusting the one who paved the road long before your feet ever touch the ground. Release the grip. You are a guest in a palace that functions with a perfection you can never fully grasp. Why do you insist on checking the foundation every morning? Enjoy the feast provided by the unseen, and let the architect handle the structure of your destiny. We weave nets from our worries, hoping to catch the future like a fish. But the future is a river, and your net only catches the debris of your own peace. Stop fishing in a sea that you do not own or understand. True strength is found in the moment you realize your absolute helplessness. For when you are nothing, the infinite power begins to move through you. Your I is the only obstacle between your soul and the great silence of the divine. Every anxiety is a prayer to a false god, the god of self-reliance. You think you are the provider, the protector, and the judge. Burn these idols. Enter the fire of surrender and see that the flames only consume what was never real. The heart is a bird that was meant to fly, but you have tied it to the anchor of your plans. You are afraid that without your plans, the bird will be lost. But the sky has no maps, yet no bird is forgotten. You are a weaver who tries to count every thread before it touches the loom, terrified that a single mistake will unravel the tapestry of your life. But the pattern was designed long before the silk was even spun by the great weaver of destiny. Look at the clock on your wall. You think you own the minutes, but you are only a witness to the passing of a time that was never yours to possess. Every second you spend worrying about the future is a second stolen from the beloved. You are a gardener who tries to pull the sprouts from the earth to make them grow faster, wondering why your flowers are dying under the pressure of your control. The seed knows its purpose. The sun knows its duty. Why don't you? The Nafs is a merchant that never closes its shop, always negotiating for more attention and more power over a tomorrow that doesn't exist. It is a trade where you give your soul's peace in exchange for the heavy lead of anxiety. You try to grab the future like a shadow on the wall, reaching out with desperate fingers only to find that the more you grab, the more it escapes you. The future is a guest that only arrives when you stop chasing it at the door. Ghazali says that the highest form of knowledge is to know your own absolute helplessness before the divine will. For in that helplessness, you find the solid ground of the Creator's power. Your surrender is not a defeat, it is a homecoming. Every what if is a drop of poison in the well of your heart, turning the sweet water of faith into a bitter lake of fear. You are drinking from a source that you poisoned with your own desire to be the architect. Sincerity is the art of being invisible to the world while being fully present before the One. It is the secret prayer that asks for nothing but more of the beloved. It is the end of the market and the start of home. You are a prisoner who has spent years polishing the bars of your own cell, thinking they are precious because you made them yourself. But the door has always been open. The only thing keeping you inside is the fear of the open sky. The "Sir" is a hidden garden that only grows when you stop looking for the approval of men. It is the conversation between the lover and the beloved that requires no words and no witness. Protect this silence with your very soul. Release the ghost of control. Let the river of destiny carry you to the ocean of His mercy. You were not made to swim against the current, but to flow with the grace of the unseen. Be still and let the water carry you. True architecture is not about adding, but about subtracting, until only the truth remains standing in the debris of the ego. When you finally reach the bottom of your nothingness, you find the solid ground of the divine power that sustains stars. You are so busy building your own kingdom that you have forgotten that you are a citizen of a realm that has no walls and no borders. The Malakut is not a destination. It is the reality behind your anxiety. The intellect can show you the door, but only the heart can walk through it. Logic is a lamp for the feet, but love is the sun for the soul. Do not mistake the lamp for the sun. Trust the pen, trust the writer. He who wrote the movement of the galaxies also wrote the healing of your heart. It is a masterpiece. Even the parts that cause you to weep. Give the pen back to the master. Stop trying to edit the script of your life. You are making a mess of the ink. Trust the plot of the unseen. Even the storms are there to guide you back to the harbor of the heart. Sincerity is the end of fear. For when you only care about the gaze of one, the gaze of the billions can no longer touch your peace. You are finally free from the theater of men. For when you truly become nothing, you find that you have never been dropped. You were always held in the gaze of love, even when you were too busy performing for the shadows. You can rest. Breathe in the truth of your neediness. It is the only richness that never fades. Let the weight of the world fall away until there is only the pulse of the Eternal One in your chest. Close your eyes. Let the darkness teach you about the light. Remember that you are a guest in a magnificent palace that functions with a perfection you can never fully understand. Welcome to your home. You have spent your life fighting for the rudder, forgetting that the ocean itself is a manifestation of His mercy. The storm is not your enemy. It is the wind that clears the sky. Trust the breath. In the architecture of surrender, every broken piece of your past becomes a stone in the foundation of your future peace. Do not mourn the collapse. The architect is only making room for the divine. Sincerity is to be a beggar at the door of the king, knowing that your empty hands are the only reason He will fill them. Pride is a closed bowl. Humility is an open ocean. You worry about the harvest, but you are only a seed. Your job is not to grow, but to surrender to the earth. Let the master of the soil handle the rest. You are enough. The I is the only weight you carry that actually matters. Drop the burden of being someone and find the grace of being His. In that transition, the overthinking mind finally finds its rest. Stop being an anatomist of pain and become a witness to the healing. The heart was made to be a sanctuary, not a museum of grievances. Clear the halls and let the light enter. True trust is walking into the darkness because you know the one who made the light. You do not need to see the path when you are holding the hand of the pathmaker. Walk on. Every thought that causes you pain is an idol you have built to replace the divine decree. Break the idols. Silence the ego. Find the pulse of the heart that says, "Be still," for the truth whispers only when the noise of the self is gone. You are safe. You are held. You have never been dropped. The captain is still at the rudder, and remember that you are a passenger who has spent your entire life